So it was announced today, breaking news, that not only is Sony going to be discontinuing their disc production, but they're also closing the PlayStation 3 and PS Vita stores. So I kind of figured at some point they'd have to close the PlayStation 3 store. I don't really get on my PS3, but I know a lot of people do. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, not as many as we'd hope to keep it open, but at some point you have to kind of sunset your system. In the case of PS Vita, it really never had a chance. At least they kept it open this long. But the biggest story coming out of all of this is their disc production. Specifically, the fact that they're not going to be producing discs anymore. We kind of saw a ramp down in production with Microsoft already, with Xbox. And I'm not sure if they totally removed disc production from their game plan, from their strategy, but Sony definitely is. And they're going to be doing this by, let me see, I think by 2028, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to pull up the specific article. According to PlayStation Blog, they're going to be ramping down their production and totally eliminating discs by 2028. That's a little disheartening. I mean, because the PS5, to be honest, it feels like the system never really took off. There was never like a huge hit that came out that warranted that we get that game. And seeing as though you can get GTA 5 on one disc for PS4, and I think PS5 is only one disc. I'm not 100% sure, but that game still looks great. And so if they're really pushing the PlayStation 5's technical capabilities to the max, some people are saying this is supposed to be like a terabyte game, GTA 6. So you're gonna put the whole entire thing on your hard drive? I mean, part of like the physical discs, part of the reason why it's not as alluring to buy physical discs for the PS5 is because they still have to store a certain amount of the game on the system. But it'd still be less than downloading the entire thing to your memory. So it's still kind of disheartening, the fact that they're not going to be having that. And then PS6, they're just getting ready for a $1,000 system where you don't have to have a disk drive, which you'd imagine would probably cut down on costs, but I don't think it will. I think that the PS6, whenever it comes out, I think it'll still be like a really expensive system. I think that's really where tech wants to go. Tech wants to not have to sell you cheap things. I think that the era of systems getting cheaper in price because the system capabilities are, the components are cheaper, that's probably not going to be a thing anymore. I mean, to be honest, if you look at where gaming is going, we're racing towards being all PCs, gaming PCs. The Steam machine, essentially the PS6 or the Xbox whatever, that's looking to be essentially racing towards being just computers. So at some point, computer gaming is just going to be amalgamated into like a PC, and then consoles will just kind of not exist. I mean, right now, it's retro gaming has become such a difficult hobby to get into because you just don't find games anymore. Like around COVID, like I was going to thrift stores and finding a bunch of stuff. And pre-COVID, you could find video games everywhere. And once in a while, I'd find a gem just for dirt cheap. Now, everybody thinks that they've got some kind of gold mine whenever they get a handful of games in. So like I've seen people try to sell Assassin's Creed for like $50. It's like, this is a 360 game. You shouldn't be charging $50 for a game that is widely produced to such a degree and people are not clamoring for. Like, do your research. But regardless, it's sad to see the PS5 do this, and then you gotta think Xbox is gonna be doing the same exact thing. So in Mexico, Honduras, and Nicaragua, PlayStation Store on PS3 will close starting August 2026. So in just a couple months from now. Well, actually, no, literally next month, because as of time of recording, this is July 1st. So yeah, that it's literally next month. Then additional Latin American and Middle Eastern countries, PlayStation Store on PS3 will be closing starting late 2026. In all other countries, PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita will close in July 2027. So we have a year. They give us a year. Whatever. Xbox, I don't think they gave us a whole entire year. I think they gave us a few months, but I could be wrong about that. The Xbox 360 and PS3 generations were the first generations that I didn't fall in love with as much. Like, to be honest, like, I was super stoked to have a PS3 back when it came out. And the first game I really dove into was Batman Arkham Asylum. And that honestly changed a little bit of my my tastes. You know, I wasn't really one for slow burn games. I always wanted those arcade instant hit games. And to some degree, I think I've kind of reverted back to that. But at the time, I kind of wanted an open world where I was looking for clues and slowly uncovering a story. But PS3, like, I'm looking back, like, PS1, loved it. PS2, really liked it a lot. PS3, it was okay. I started to kind of see I was missing out on stuff without internet, and I didn't have internet, so that kind of, I think, dampened the experience for me. And then PS4, I started to have a little bit of internet, but I really didn't need internet because a lot of the games came pretty complete, at least right off the bat. Especially because I think the game I put a lot of time into when it first released was Infamous Second Son. And it was just pretty much a complete game without really having to update much. So, and then eventually I did get internet and updated everything. And then PS4, I love that generation. And PS5 has been okay, but there really hasn't been any like absolute bangers that haven't come out on other systems. So again, I don't feel like the PS5 has really hit its stride yet. It really hasn't, broken through and been like, hey, this generation's been worth it for any exclusives. Xbox had some, but then they just kind of threw them all away and released them on PS5. So, and even then, those exclusives really weren't that great. But overall, I mean, the PS5 kind of feels like a holdover of the PS3, if you can believe that. There's just something funky about it. I think the problem is PlayStation put a lot of their eggs in the live service basket, and like I think it was like something like 11 out of 12, or like 10 out of 12, or something like that. Games that they made live service that they were developing were all canceled. Concord would be one of those games. Technically, it did see release, but it was so. Yeah, the PS3 was kind of like that one PlayStation console that if you were to ask me, hey, marry, kill, you know what, PS3 would be the kill. It never really, it had exclusives, but there was just kind of something weird about it. It didn't ever grab a hold of me. Now 360 eventually did, but not right off the bat. It wasn't really until I had internet and I was able to get Xbox Live Arcade to where I really truly fell in love with the 360. But I didn't quite really feel like that with PS3. So regardless, it's still sad to see that shut down. It's sad to see games that that were exclusive to online, the online store, be shut down. There was one game I remember wanting to get. It was like Animal Jungle or something like that. I can't remember, but there was like a bunch of animals, like a dog, like some house pets in the wild, and there was like maybe like an alligator or a shark or something. It's just something crazy. But essentially, you'd be like going around as like a dog, and trying to stay alive in this world that essentially all humans died off. So maybe Urban Jungle, I can't remember, but that was one of the games I really wanted to get and I never got it. So I think I was more torn up about the 360 going down. I was sinking with the ship, playing games and talking to people on Reddit and stuff, and going that route. Just having fun with people, experiencing 360 one last time together. But what do you think? Does this make you really upset? The PS3 is going to be shutting down in a year for U.S. residents, at least. Other places around the world, even quicker than that. How do you feel? Were there any games that you feel like you missed out on? Are there any games that you're going to get before the store shuts down? And then, not to mention, discs. The PS5 discs. It's a whole entire thing. So make sure to let me know in the comments. I read all the comments and I try to respond to them, or at least like them. So please let me know what you think. But with that said, hope you guys have a great day. Take care.